And welcome to Team Tank. Man, how about that for a game? I was not able to watch. I was elsewhere, and credit to Ryan Kellepire for holding down the fort and controlling or live tweeting from our account. Uh, he used his own account to use one of the best reverse jinxes that you'll ever see. It was I forget what point in the game it was, but the
It
last thing
was
I saw before I had to put my phone away was Ryan saying, "Great, we're gonna win this game and win Friday and ruin our season." Phenomenal effort there. I think Ryan, you said you even started watching from the Bucks feed, right?
yeah, about well I don't like Billy Mack anyway. I just don't he just gets excited about nothing. He doesn't add anything to the broadcast. But yeah, I think it was like right when we took that 10-point lead, and like he was going crazy over like Ellington hitting threes and Boozer scoring. I was like, all right, I gotta turn this off. So then put the Bucks feed on. We turned it around. We made that like, well, I guess for the Bucks made that nice comeback. Came back within like one, then eventually they took the lead. I thought everything was good from there, and then and we made a comeback. And when we were up by one with like 6 minutes left, I thought we were gonna win. We should have won that game. All Byron had to do was foul when Middleton had the ball, but he let him give it to Mayo, and obviously Mayo hit that three.
Left Shark for MVP. Rahul, what do you got?
I am awarding the title of Tank General to players on the Bucks, Brandon Knight and OJ Mayo, because OJ Mayo for those two threes, and then also Brandon Knight also hit a three with under a minute left. So yeah, that was pretty clutch.
I'm a pretty big Brandon Knight fan. I think he's one of the more underrated players that the league has. I mean, he's averaging 18 points plus or so, and
Like seven
eight
assists.
assists or so, seven
Yeah,
or eight assists.
7 or 8.
Yeah,
Yeah. Good
those
shooter
are
too.
pretty impressive numbers.
40+% from behind the arc too.
Yeah, I don't see what you wouldn't really like about his game. I mean, the one thing that tends to surround him is he tends to be on the wrong end of a bunch of highlights. The DeAndre Jordan killing him and stuff like that. But
Oh
really,
no, wait, hold on. He's averaging 5 assists. I
I
don't know why he was like 7 or 8, but
thought
whatever.
it was a little higher.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
Um, I'm going to just kind of go through the numbers I'm looking at right here. The first number that jumps off the page to me is Jordan Clarkson only playing 23 minutes. That's pathetic. Uh, I'm looking. Jeremy Lin played 30 minutes and went 2 of 12 from the field.
Hmm.
Um, Congratulations, Lin fans. Your savior saved the season with getting killed by Brandon Knight down the stretch of that game. I'm also looking at Tariq Black only played 16 minutes.
Man,
Carlos Boozer played 37 minutes. Ugh.
He was way too good.
Yeah, that's what I
Makes
was.
me sick every time he scores and yells like "hold that" and all those stupid phrases he yells. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I did see the one tweet from our account that he yelled and one when he was near nobody.
Yeah, he just took like I mean, there was a contested jumper, but the guy didn't hit him or anything, and he yelled and one, and he made it.
so I think
Unfortunately.
one thing that concerns me about this game is that Byron's like backtracking on what we thought he was going to do is develop the young guys. I mean, like you said, Clarkson played 23 minutes, Black played 16 minutes. Ed Davis, who used to only play like 19, 20 minutes, played 33 minutes. As you mentioned, Boozer played heavy minutes, Nick Young played heavy minutes, Jeremy Lin played heavy minutes. So it's it's I don't know why suddenly Byron changed what he was trying to do.
Well,
Well,
and at the end of the day too, it's just you never quite know, right? I mean, I wrote the article that he needs to work on his communication. Like, how does a kid like Jeremy Clarkson feel, where he's been getting consistent run? Maybe he struggled. I see 0 of 4 from the field, 3 turnovers. That's not very good, and only 3 assists. I mean, like, if I'm Jordan Clarkson, and the way our coach chooses to communicate to us is through playing time, and now he's not getting playing time, and now Lynn's getting all these minutes. You have to think. that's going to hurt his confidence moving forward. And then two, at the end of the day, what the hell are they trying to do? Win a game? Great. We win a game on a random Wednesday in Milwaukee, and hurt the chances of a higher draft pick. And that rudderless system is really frustrating. Ryan, what did you take away from Brandon Knight's performance, and what would you say he would bring to the table most? Do you think he could play in the same backcourt as Clarkson?
I think he could. Clarkson, to me, honestly, I think he's more of a 2 than a 1 anyway. Like he's like a 2 that can slide to the 1 and handle the ball a little bit, but I'd prefer him at the 2. And then Knight's a good point guard as it is. He's nearly an Eastern All-Star this year, and tonight he had a terrible, like in regulation he was really bad, but then overtime he had a ton of big shots, played really good defense on Landon Clarkson, and that's part of the reason Clarkson struggled. But you could say like Knight had a terrible game, and then you look at his box score, 24 points, 7 of 17, which isn't great, but also 4 of 7 behind the line, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. He did everything, and I would love him on the team next year. I've said last podcast, and I think the one before, I don't see any way Milwaukee doesn't match offers for him, though.
Right. I see. I'm looking here. Ryan Kelly only played 17 minutes. Rahul, you can chime in on this too, but this trend of playing Ryan Kelly there at the 3, what hurts the worst there is that, again, it's going to mess with his confidence when he's getting killed because he's playing out of position. And then at the same time, Byron's going to blame him for not being able to play said position. And then now it looks like, his punishment for being played out of position is now no longer playing.
Yeah.
That seems like a terrible combination when you're talking about developing a young player. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like when you put Kelly at the 3, he has to play at his speed. He can't. He's effective, when obviously he plays the 4. The game's a little bit slower for him. He can get to the ball, take his defender off the dribble. He's just not getting the chance to do. He's not getting the chance to do that right now. And like you said, his confidence is being killed, thanks to Byron. Yeah, this is pretty terrible.
Right.
He's Kelly at the 3 is like a pretty good tank move, though. When he's on the floor, he was guarding Giannis tonight, and it's like he can't guard a guy like that, and he can't score on a guy like that. So, tank-wise, I don't mind it. It just sucks because the team might give up on him and be like, oh, this guy might not ever be a good player, or they'll put him as filler in a trade or something. Even though last year he showed when he played the 4, he was effective.
Right. Yeah, it's that's shark. I guess the other little tidbit of news or semi-news or rumors was Ish Smith tweeting and then deleting a tweet about joining Laker Nation. Ryan, I'll let you take over, going over that news. What was going on there?
Well, I just saw it. I saw it like an hour ago. Apparently the tweet he sent out was at like 7:50, I think, in the morning. And I didn't see it until about an hour ago. But it was basically like a tweet saying he'll miss Oklahoma City, and then basically that he's looking forward to be a part of Lakers Nation or whatever, and then it quickly got deleted. Although some people have suggested it's fake. I obviously can't verify that. But if it's true, someone mentioned that he can't be traded till the 6th anyway, so he might have gotten news about a trade, but they can't actually announce it for 2 more days. And hopefully that's the case, because the Thunder might be a team that wants Hill, and as we know, we want to get rid of Hill if possible.
Right. Yeah. I guess we'd have to spend some time there on trade on ESPN's trade machine to see where Ish Smith's contract, fits into the equation. But yeah, that'd be great. I mean,
yeah.
The quicker we can get on this rebuild, the better. And
seriously, I don't know what the Thunder would offer in terms of picks, but we mentioned like Reggie Jackson in a trade, and he's been terrible lately. But I'd be buying low on him, and I'd be fine with that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, And the other thing too is if they want to include some kind of future first rounder, and the Lakers, maybe it wouldn't help them this year maybe, but if they were to take a first rounder for after 2016, 2016 or later, when Westbrook and Durant potentially are both gone, that team could be way low in the rankings, and that could potentially be a great asset.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would protect it if they traded it, like maybe lottery protected. So if they do make the playoffs, we would get it and be a late pick. But I'm sure they'd protect it in some way because they wouldn't want to lose But right now they're at pick 13. They wouldn't want to lose that to have for Hill. At least I don't, unless they're that desperate, which they might be. I mean, they might have to try to convince Durant to stay there for after next season, and they miss the playoffs this year and then have a disappointing season next year. You might just go to Washington or maybe the Lakers. I seriously doubt it, but.
So wait, you're saying it's smart for GMs to put more protection on their pick than top 5 protected overall?
If our pick this year was top 7 protected, this season would actually be enjoyable. We wouldn't have much to worry about. But the fact it's top 5, we're right on the edge. It's so stressful.
Right, and that's I guess we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge some of the nonsense going on Twitter that we're actively rooting against the Lakers. That's not the case at all. What we're rooting for, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but what we're rooting for is the rebuild, and not having a top 5 or anything, a top 6 pick potentially, for said rebuild is devastating. It is. There's no other way to look at it. So I guess I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, people are the Lakers. What I always kind of worry about doing is knocking people for their passion about the Lakers when that passion is why podcasts like this can take place. But combine that passion with some brain power. What are your 2 cents on what's going on Twitter, Rahul?
Yeah, I've been looking at some tweets, and somebody just said, "Hey, look at the history of the team. We've landed we've landed big name free agents. The Lakers don't tank. That's not part of their history. You can't just sit there and hope that magically somebody's just gonna come. That's not a good strategy. I mean, the smart thing to do is obviously." Why we set up what we set up this podcast for is to tank and to maximize your chance of getting a franchise changing player that will also maximize the chance of a free agent wanting to come to play. So the argument that we need to look at the history of the Lakers is not a good one, right? It's not about what happened in the past, but to look towards what, like I said, how to maximize our chance in the future. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, you have anything to add, Ryan?
Well, basically, I've already been in arguments today on Twitter about people who, we don't need draft picks. We can just get free agents, and you can do both. Rookies take up such a small percentage of your team's cap space. You can have 2 guys like Randall and then Stanley Johnson or any of those type of guys for cheap. They'll be making a combined $7 or $8 million. And then you have all the rest of the cap space to chase free agents. And if those picks develop and then you make good free agency signings, you can become a contender pretty easily. And everyone says Kevin Durant signing with the Wizards. And the 2 players that they say that he wants to play with or will be a good fit with is Beal and John Wall. And they got those 2 guys through the draft. And the Lakers could do something really similar if they keep their pick this year.
Right. And I mean, in my opinion, I think there are 2 kinds of tanking. There's long-term tanking, where we're seeing with Philly, right, in Cleveland before LeBron got there, where it was multiple years of being at the bottom end of the draft. And in those cases, I would say it actually hurts the players, right, because you develop losing habits that are hard to crack. I think we saw that at the beginning part of the season when LeBron went over there and he was frustrated because guys like Dion Waiters and Kyrie Irving were used to being able to do whatever they wanted to on a court and not really care as much about the end effect. Whereas what the Lakers would be trying to do this year is just a 1 year or 2 year kind of draft, tanking situation where, all right, you're down there for 2 years, you make best with what you had to do down there, and then you combine that with free agents and you quickly rebuild and get out of that situation. That's what I think all Laker fans should be rooting for, and I don't think that's anything that's beyond the realm of possibility.
Well, the whole culture thing where you don't want to lose because you'll develop a bad culture. Most of the players on this year's team aren't going to be here long term. It's only Kelly, Clarkson. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed the pun right there. Kelly, Clarkson. Honestly,
maybe Black.
Yeah, Tarek Black, Nick Young.
Maybe Ed Davis, but
Other than and Randall, but he's not playing, so it's hard to count that. But it's not like we're playing for these guys to be our starters over the next 5 years, and they're learning bad habits. The only one I think will be a long-term starter is Randall and maybe Clarkson. But so it's not the losing for them. That's not a big deal, especially because it's only going to be 1 year, 2 years at most. In 2016, we're not going to be a bottom of the barrel team anymore, or trying to be a bottom of the barrel team.
Right.
And also, I don't really understand the bad culture argument. If that was the case, the Lakers play hard every night. They're just not good enough to win. So it's not like the Lakers, their confidence is not. Probably it's not gone down a lot because they still play hard. They compete. Then some games they're close. So I think it's not really a good argument.
Yeah, the only stretch where I would say they were just playing terrible basketball, right, was when they lost 9 out of 10 and all of them were by double digits, right?
And that was, are you talking about in January?
Right.
Well, and the schedule was brutal, and now it's starting to ease up a little bit, which is why you need to make moves to weaken the roster a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I guess to get back to that Ish Smith stuff, I just really quickly whipped together a trade here. I'm sending Jordan Hill and Wayne Ellington to Oklahoma City for Perkins, Jackson, and then this guy Jarrett. But that would be
he went to Arizona.
But that would be the Ish Smith contract, which is valued at the same amount of money, and it'd be interesting to see if Oklahoma City basically is going to say, all right, for just Jordan Hill, we aren't including Reggie Jackson, but for Jordan Hill and Wayne Ellington potentially. Because they could use another shooter. Anthony Morrow has been up and down this season, and
Jeremy Lamb doesn't even play.
Yeah, it's unless maybe instead of Jackson they would include Jeremy Lamb, but
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. Because to trade Jackson for them, they'd be selling really low. I think it's definitely possible, but Lamb's not even playing, and I think he could be. He hasn't really had a fair shot in Oklahoma City. At least I don't think so. Mm-hmm. And he's barely played over the last 20 games. So, and he's only 22, 23. So he has some upside. I wouldn't mind that.
And he's on that rookie contract, which gives flexibility.
Right.
All right. So I guess I'm gonna quickly scroll through our Team Tank mentions, and guys, you guys can. If you guys have questions that are coming to your personal account, you guys can throw them out there too.
I just have a whole bunch of arguments in my mentions right now. I can't even find any questions.
Just spitting hot fire down there, huh?
I don't have any questions, and my computer's really slow right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing myself apologize for not being able to spell. That's not very good.
There was one thing someone mentioned 2 days ago, and he was saying because Reggie Jackson, if we were to trade for him, let's say, because he's a restricted free agent and you have a qualifying offer, his cap hit is just over $3 million. So what you would do is you would trade for him, and then in the offseason, before you re-sign him, you still have him on your roster, and you have him only take like a $3 million cap hit. Then you fill out the rest of your roster, like you sign the rest of your roster with your cap space, which would be, if everyone's gone, it would be like $25 million, and then once you use that $25 million up, then you go over the cap to re-sign him.
Right. And again, I mean, the biggest thing with that is that you get to see him for half a year, how he responds to being in LA, and you also get to see how he handles playing next to Jeremy Lin. And if he likes all of those things, then it's worth using that extra money.
And honestly, he seems like the type of guy that cares more about his role than his salary so much. So I feel like if you promise him a starting role, which I think the Lakers could easily do since we don't really have anyone else, I think we'd be able to get him at not a cheap price, because he's a restricted with us. He'll always have a large role, and he'll get plenty of playing time.
Right. I guess I do see one question here is from Umar Asani. What's with the Lakers making things interesting with Eastern Conference teams? I think that's pretty easily explainable by just saying the Eastern Conference is hot garbaggio. There's no other way to look at that. I mean,
I think that pretty much sums it up.
There's the Bucks are a 6 seed, and we outplayed them, and our team we have no talent, and it's happened. We've beaten the Raptors, we've beaten the Hawks somehow. The Eastern Conference, that's why all these games, when you look at the schedule and it's coming up, it's like the Nets and Celtics, and I think we play the Raptors later in February or March, and those. They're like the Raptors and Wizards. They're good teams, but we could beat them on any night because they're compared to Western Conference teams, they're not that good.
Right. So, one, it was fun to go through our feed there. That was kind of fun to relive. I saw one mention was just charge. That was pretty fun. Yeah,
people were getting into it while towards the end after Mayo hit that 3. People were so excited. That was a huge shot. Before that, I was so mad because I thought I was pretty sure we were going to win the game, but I even tweeted that, even though that was supposed to be a reverse jinx. I didn't actually mean that.
It worked.
Yeah.
Credit to you for that one. And then the other one that I couldn't help but fist pump to was when Brandon Jennings hit that crazy fadeaway 3-pointer.
Brandon Knight, you mean? Or
what's that?
Brandon Knight?
Who did I say?
Jennings. Former Buck. They were traded for each other.
Same guy. Rest in peace, Brandon Jennings.
I guess like for us, given the circumstances, this was almost as exciting when Kobe does this to help us win.
Yeah, that's a good point. So now other teams' players hitting crazy Kobe shots qualifies as us rooting for crazy Kobe shots.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess we'll cut this one short. Next show is for Friday. At what time are we saying?
We could do after the game, so that'd probably be about similar time tonight. Yeah. I think maybe an hour earlier. So around probably 8:30 or so.
And get your prayer emojis out for a terrible effort on Friday. The Lakers need to lose that game. That looms as large as that Knicks game, just for for our efforts and what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Thanks again, guys, for signing on. Thanks for again. I don't know what have you guys seen what our followers are at? We're doing pretty good.
It's at 240 right now.
240 through 3 days. So that's impressive, guys. Thanks again for all the support. For those of you who are bullying Lakerella, keep it up.
Don't do that.
and let's keep this tank rolling. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Thanks, guys.